Now, let's talk some RGV.
So I'm in the YouTube comments, and Bruce said, "Thank you, Mallory and Pickle, for your knowledge. You guys are the best." Bruce from Lancaster, PA. Love that.
Oh,
that rocks.
What's PA? Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Pennsylvania. Lancaster.
Appreciate you, Bruce.
Yeah, that kind of rocks. So, yeah, we appreciate all the nice comments on YouTube. Really love that.
Paul Garza asking if we have any thoughts on next week's game between PSJA North and Corpus Christi Flower Buff. Boy,
that's
you
also
fixing to
box
get excited?
office.
Are
That's
you
also
fixing to get excited? Because we do have thoughts on that. Let's get to our thoughts on that.
Let's get to our thoughts. So, if you know our rankings, you know that there's not a team in the RGV that is currently state ranked. So we went through the list of teams in the RGV, and we decided to pick out some of the teams that you should keep your eye out on that could possibly, win their district or make a playoff run or this, that, and the other, right? Good players to watch and stuff like that. So starting off in 6A, I'll start us off here with the Wesco Panthers. Out of District 31 6A, the 5-2 record to start off the year. Now, they dropped the first two to Harlingen and McAllen Memorial, which you'll talk about them in a second. Very, very good team. So that's not a bad loss at all. That was also only a one-score loss there. But they're led by Roy Stroman. He's in his 6th year there at the helm and has posted a 38-14 record. So it's been a big difference for this Panthers program here the past couple of years. This is a team I feel like, especially with Stroman there at the helm, has been in district title contention the past couple years. They go 11-1 last season. That's right. I couldn't remember. So they went undefeated in district play last season, of course, winning their district there, but then dropped to San Antonio J in the area round last season. They lost a couple of those key type players that they had from that incredible run last season. So experience has been a little bit of a, I guess, lack, I guess, for lack of a better word, for this team. Now, the offense can put up points. There's no doubt about that. Led by quarterback and wide receiver. He plays both, which tells you
why not?
Because why not? Frankie Trevino, with help around him from a couple of his key targets and wide receivers. But again, the problem, I think, has been on the defensive side of the ball, especially when they have to go up against super high-powered offenses that can also put up a lot of points, kind of like McAllen Memorial in the beginning of the season. But don't count them out. I think that – who do they play this week? I had perfect. They play PSJA High, which – that's also an explosive offense we'll get to when we talk about players to watch. But their game this week against PSJA will be will determine who the District 31 6A title goes to.
Yep.
So, yeah. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. Yeah, right.
Oh, like your Follett Panthers.
It's not my team. My team's the Arlington Colts.
No.
Not the Follett Panthers. I do love Follett, don't get me wrong.
Sounds like you don't. Many people are saying.
I just want to make a note that Pickle, before I sit in the control room.
I know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going.
And I'm setting up for the show. And she actually kind of scared me. She opens the door and she goes, "Yeah, we're just not going to do the Rio Grande Valley regional breakdown. We're just going to do Follett." So
we're just going to do a complete Follett breakdown, ins and outs, every single player.
Her eyes, she looked like a deer in the headlights, man. I was like, hey, we're actually going to scratch the RGV. And it's like 15 minutes before the show. And she goes, and I was like, we're solely talking Follett.
I was like, God.
You would pull something like that.
Got him.
You absolutely could.
Someone's got to keep the dad jokes rolling around here.
Now, we love Follett. But can we also talk about the Los Fresnos?
Now that, my friends, is a transition. She's a capital J journalist.
Yeah, that's something like that, man. Something like that. The Falcons, out of District 32 6A, have the best record in that district, sitting at a pretty 6-1 on the season. Their only loss coming from PSJA High, which, of course, that we talked about. Very, very good team there. Explosive offense. A lot of
there's a lot of offense in the
RGV. If I had to classify RGV with one word, it's offense.
Yes.
Absolutely offense. Now, we've got a couple of good teams with good defenses and stuff, but most of these teams have very, not just offense, explosive offense that put up a ton of points.
Yeah. Pointsy.
Very pointsy. Which, of course, this team that I'm talking about, the Falcons, very good on offense. Are you surprised? Very good on offense. A lot of returning experience has helped out this team so far this season. And I think, so quarterback, they're led by quarterback Robert Pineda.
He's fantastic.
Has been fantastic. And I think I talked about him on my players to watch last season, if I remember correctly.
You did.
Yeah, because I knew he was young, and I pointed him out. 4,300 yards in his career through the air. He's run for 2,400 yards in his career, his varsity career, and has totaled 80 career touchdowns.
That's insane.
Talk about explosive.
Yeah.
Dual threat explosive quarterback.
No, he's fun to watch. They kind of build the whole plane out of him, and he's exciting to watch.
He's exciting to watch, and it doesn't help that it also helps that he's got a ton of dynamic playmakers all around him, and running backs, wide receivers, all of it makes it a very, very dangerous offense. Averaging 43 points a game. On the defensive side, like I said, I think they've been able to hold their own this season. They do give up a lot of points, but it's one of those things like we talked about earlier. It's a bend, don't break defense, right? As long as they can hold their own and the offense can outscore whoever they're playing, it's good. It's calm, right? So this week they're playing Brownsville Veterans Memorial for the district title, probably, because Brownsville Veterans Memorial is 6-2, 2-0 in district play, and then Los Fresnos is sitting at 6-1, 1-0 in district. So that'll be for the district title there in 32-6A.
Moving on down now to 5A Division 1. It is kind of that marquee. There's a couple of marquee teams, I think, in the Valley that we tend to, especially in recent years, talk about often. And hold with me here because they're not all in the same district. Some of them are, but they will all definitely be meeting in the playoffs. So this is three teams that we're going to kind of combine into one here. So starting off with PSJA North. Whoa! Ever heard of them? Yeah. The Raiders under head coach Marcus Kaufman have been really one of the top two teams of notes down in the Valley. Them and Edinburgh Vela. We'll get to them in a second. PSJA North goes 12-1 last year. They make it all the way to the regional finals. We had talked about this potentially being the first team to make it to that state semifinal in so many years. They got cut just short, losing to the aforementioned Brownsville Veterans Memorial. They lost 45-28, but they have been to back-to-back regional finals. The year beforehand, they lost to Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial. Question coming into this one for the Raiders was how are they going to look without quarterback Ali Aparicio? He had been
so good,
the lifeblood of that program, and it was like, okay, they've got a good defense, they've got size up front. How do they handle that loss? Honestly, it's been good. They're off to a 7-0 start on the season. The black shirt defense, as they call it, has been incredible. They're averaging an allotment of only 10 points per game.
And here's the kicker too with that. They're playing up. They're playing 6A programs like San Benito, PSJA. They're not playing in their own wheelhouse. They're playing up.
No, and only allowing, and they've pitched 2 shutouts on the year. The defense has been the calling card of this entire program. Obviously, junior running back Ethan Guerrera has been fantastic for the offense. He gives them that ground and pound that Kaufman is looking for. But junior quarterback Darian Garcia, he's figuring out how to operate that offense. He's obviously been able to rely on Ethan Guerrera a lot, so that has been helpful. But I think he's starting to shape too in the passing game a little bit, to kind of nearing that 1,000 passing yard mile marker there. But that is, they're coming out of District 15 5A. So they should pretty much roll through district, except for, how about that game coming up, not this week, but next week. So they have Wesco East this week. Should be perfectly fine there. Then it will be for the district title. So Corpus Christi Flower Bluff, another 7-0 team in that district.
So
much
tasty.
to, who was that who asked?
I had it pulled up a second ago.
Paul Garza.
Yes.
This one is really, really fun. So if I am not mistaken, let me pull up Flower Bluff here so I don't speak out of term. But also, like I said, a 7-0 team that has had an incredible incredible offense. Not to mention their defense has pitched 3 different shutouts on the year. But Clint Elwood has that team operating. Cameron Dixon is fantastic. Their quarterback Jaden Pelucio has been just lighting it up. So that one will be very, very exciting. My intrigue for that one is the Corpus Christi Flower Bluff offense going up against the PSJA defense. So that's where my intrigue comes. But a massive, massive game in Flower Bluff, so in Corpus Christi, coming up next week. Keep your eye on that one. Likely to decide the District 15 5A Division 1. Moving on now to District 16 5A Division 1. That's where you'll find the pairing of Edinburgh Vela and McAllen Memorial. So Vela, obviously John Campbell retiring after their really good run last year. He had been there forever. Ernie Alonso now in his first year. So they went 10-2 in the past 2 seasons. They lost to Corpus Christi Miller in area and then Vets in area the last 2 years. And it's funny because they tend to, we don't often get to see a Vela versus PSJA North matchup like we always hope to because of Vets and Miller being in that same kind of thing. But that's changing this year with Miller dropping down.
Corpus Christi Miller?
Yes, or did Vets go up? One of the two. Someone is not in that region anymore. Anyway, they had 13 starters, a ton of size on the line come back. The defense, again, only allowing 11 points per game. So defense is operating. Offensively, it's been senior running back Jonathan Flores. Are you talking about him later?
I'm sorry, who?
Jonathan Flores from Vela.
I am not.
Okay. Well, great, because he's averaging 148 yards on the ground, and then really it's the guy that has been doing the thing for so many years. Senior quarterback Jeffrey Creighton Lefevre.
Yes.
He is. Are you talking about him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll let
talk about him.
Dudes rock.
Yeah, they do.
He is a dude who rocks.
Or
Not all dudes rock, but this dude.
I accidentally
rocks.
said they do, implying that all dudes rock.
I know, and I said dudes rock.
I
but
did
I
not
didn't
mean that.
I didn't mean to say that either.
This is going to get
God.
cut.
Dudes who watch
This is
the
gonna
show
get
rock.
Jesus.
I can say that.
Dudes who watch women talking football rock.
They rock.
Those are the
you are
only
certified dudes that rock. Unless Tepper or Carter are listening, and then dudes again do not rock.
No.
Anyway, Lefevre is incredible. I'll let you get more in on that. But here's where it comes down to play. They are in the same district as McAllen Memorial. Okay. They've
also been a powerhouse.
Yes. They play Friday night. Talking about games that rock in week 9, here is the one that will decide the district championship for 16 5A. On the other side, head coach Moses Patterson has his ball club going. So this is a team that went 7-4 in 2023, losing to Harlingen South and by district. And it's been a high-powered offense leading the way for McAllen Memorial. JP Garza has led the case on that as the running back. But I think the difference between last year with their 7-4 mark and this year with their 6-1 start that they're off to has been junior quarterback Kane Coy really taking that step forward. He has really, he came in as a sophomore, looked pretty good, but him and Michael, I think it's Alanis is how you say it, their junior wide receiver, have really started to develop that connection. Makes sense. You get a year under your belt, 2 very young players. Now they're forming that connection. But I think the thing I've been most impressed with Memorial is the speed at which their offensive line developed. They lost a lot out of that unit last year, and they've really started to shape up and allow Coy the opportunity to have a little bit more time in the pocket and make those connections. So if you're McAllen Memorial, I think Vela will have the upper hand,
the edge there
in this game. But that being said, keep in mind, all of those players I just listed were all juniors. Like I said, their offensive line is all new. This is a team that is slowly but surely under the direction of Coach Patterson getting better and better. And next year, I really think will be a year that we're looking going, hey, this could be a big year for McAllen Memorial, just with a young team that not only was young and now has done that, but they've had so much experience under their belt. They get to play some tough competition. Very excited to see how that ends up shaking out.
And I want to compare this to El Paso a little bit, because El Paso teams, especially the 5A and 4A ranks, they play up a lot. They play up a lot because typically the district competition is not as, especially the better teams in El Paso, they like to play 6A teams and 5A Division I programs, especially if they're 4A. That compares a lot to a lot of these RGV teams that where maybe the district competition isn't as tough. You're looking at a PSJA or Vela Memorial. They do like to play up so they can get ready for potentially making a playoff
and
run.
Travel too. You
And
know, it's
travel
like,
as well,
okay,
yeah.
why go play another 5A Division I team all the way in San Antonio or the Corpus area, which you're not going to do because they're going to be in the same district or at least the same region as you.
Yes.
Stay there and play up so you can cut down on travel and get some good competition out of it.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So real fast to wrap all that up, obviously all of these teams are in Region 4. And Region 4 is not a pushover. Not a pushover. So obviously Flower Buff that we mentioned is 7-0 right now. PSJA North, they're going to have to beat up on each other. Corpus Christi Vets is 6-1. Weslaco East is 6-1 on the year. And then you expand out even further into the region. You've got teams like state ranked Piper. You've got Smithson Valley. So, I mean, they're going to beat up on each other. And then you add in the teams like Piper and Smithson Valley. And I think last year we were talking about Vela or PSJA North being the team that it's like they should run through Region 4. You know, you'll get to Miller and Vets, but if you can get past that, you should be good. I think this year it's a little bit more difficult, but why not?
Yeah.
You know?
How about Brownsville Vets, though?
Incredible story.
That's an incredible story.
I remember we were at Texas Football Tonight, and we had stopped the show prior to that game ending, and I remember getting to watch the end of it, and that was just so cool because that's one of those games that either team making it to the state semifinal was going to be historic.
Huge deal.
Historic.
Yes.
And so to watch, like, we knew that as a neutral fan, there was no way we were leaving that game disappointed in the result because it was just such a cool story.
It was a cool story all around, whoever won that game. I agree there. Let's drop down to 4A Division 1. Our last team to keep your eye on there at in the RGV. That's the Zapata Hawks. And you're probably thinking, Zapata Hawks, maybe you haven't heard of them. They're 6-1 on this season. And this is a program that typically doesn't even have a winning season. Now they've had a couple in the past, but now they're under the direction of first-year head coach David Porras, I believe, Jr. 6-1 on the season. This has to be the best start for the Hawks in a very, very long time. I tried to go back and look on Max Preps, but couldn't find much on there. But definitely one of the best starts in program history for the Hawks there. Lots of firepower here on the offense, led by quarterback Lyndon Martinez and running back Danny Ramos. It's another one of those teams that, they're going to put up a lot of points, and it's one of those defenses that it's kind of a bend, don't break type of defense there. But they've been able to hold their own this season. Their only loss coming from Roma, which was only by 7 points there, so only lost by 1 score. So they're off to a very, very strong start there, especially in district play. They're undefeated in district play. And this week they have Corpus Christi Cal Allen, who is 6-2 on the season, 2-0 in district play. So that game is probably going to be for the district title. District 16 4A Division 1 title. So keep your eye on the Zapata Hawks. Not typically a team that you think about who, if you're thinking about playoffs or playoff contention, but if they can win district, it's a team to look out for in the playoffs.
I like it.
So there you go. Some teams to look out for in the RGV. It's 12:55, and I have 5 players to talk about.
Hustle, because I got a meeting at 1:30 and my stomach is growling.
What'd you make for lunch today? As you just told me to hustle, and then I'm like, what'd you make for lunch today?
Yeah. I'm not answering that because I'm hungry. Go.
Okay, fine.
It's gonna be nothing if I answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna be eating air in the meeting if we don't get out of here.
Okay.
Love y'all. Thanks for watching.
All right, I'll go quick. First up on players to watch in the RGV, let's talk about a private school, Brownsville St. Joseph Academy. 2025 athlete Claudio Torres. Dude's a football playing dude. You know those dudes that we just talked about that they're like, yeah, that's a football playing dude? It's Claudio Torres. He's been a total stud this season, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of as well. He's run for 982 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 682 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Jeez.
Great, right? On the other side, he's totaled 49 tackles and 3 interceptions.
Just for fun.
So he doesn't come off the field.
No.
And he plays in almost every aspect of the game, except at quarterback, which, I mean, he could play at quarterback. I haven't seen him play at quarterback, but
Why
he
not?
could quite possibly be taking the snaps there every couple of plays there. He's listed as a wide receiver on Huddle and Max Prep, so I assume that if he's going to play college ball, it'll probably be at the receiver spot. From his tape, looks like they use him in a different types of packages on the offensive side. He's fast and elusive as a ball carrier, and then lethal with yards after catchability, obviously, when he's thrown to, and gives the offense just an explosive component with his ability to stretch the field there when he's lined up on the outside. 6'3", 160, smaller frame, but I think it's because he probably never comes off the field, so he just can't gain that type of muscle. And he's an athlete. He's a multi-sport athlete. I believe he plays soccer as well. So really fun guy to watch. A little bit smaller, like I said. But if he can get a little bit meat on those bones, he might be playing college ball at the next level if that is what he's looking to do. Let's stay at Brownsville St. Joseph Academy and talk about 2025 interior offensive lineman Diego de la Cruz. Big boy up front, 6'4", 315 pounds.
Yo, that boy be eating.
He's got the size.
Good Lord.
I wonder how much.
How much his fair, that's how much I would weigh if I lived in the RGV as well. So same.
Fantastic food. Yeah, fantastic food there. He's got the ability to handle blocks one-on-one and the strength to just bully you up front. The strength and size to be a bully up front there. His sheer size, to me, is a huge advantage for him and can create those holes in the offensive line for the running game. And he's committed to play for the UTEP Miners in El Paso. So he's staying in state. Moving on down, let's go to Edinburgh and talk about Vela 2025 quarterback Jeffrey, and you kind of already mentioned him a little bit. Jeffrey Lefevre, 6'4", 215 pounds. Ideal frame for a quarterback, in my opinion. He's a gunslinger with a strong arm. His midseason stats updated through week 6. I couldn't find anything past week 6, but he's completed 62% of his passes, thrown for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. And again, these are only through week 6, so I'm sure he's put a little bit of meat to that since then, but really impressive throughout the regular season there. He looks really comfortable in the pocket. And I think
he's been doing it for years.
And a lot of that is due to that offensive line. This is a very strong offensive line for Vela that gives him a lot of time and a lot of space there in the pocket. And his throws are even super accurate in times when he is under pressure. He's got some good weapons around him too. Just a really strong offense all around for Edinburgh Vela. PSJA High 2025 quarterback Miles Lopez. He's awesome.
Yeah. No, he's a good football player.
He's really fun. He actually won our 6A Quarterback of the Week award last week.
Slinging it.
Yes. He threw 35 times and completed 30 of those passes last week. 426 yards and 4 touchdowns in one game. So that brings his total up to 2,200 yards and 18 touchdowns this season. He's really good. He's really, really
Pop
good.
off, son.
He's got a strong arm and can make plays with his feet, too, when trying to escape that pressure. His throws are pretty accurate as well and can get the ball to his targets even in those really tight windows, which really good quarterback stat there. Especially his favorite target, Ryan Vallejo, when they connected for 5 touchdowns in a single game this season. His favorite target.
I feel like we could do that.
You and I?
We're enough in sync.
We have one brain. Together we make one brain cell. So I think that if you put us on a team together...
5 touchdowns seems realistic.
5 touchdowns seems realistic. We'll see. And has offers from Central Michigan and East Central University. So a guy looking to play at the next level. He's really, really fun to watch. And to round it all out, you've already mentioned
my guy.
PSJA North 2026 running back Ethan Guerra. In 3 seasons playing varsity ball, he's totaled almost 4,000 yards on the ground and 40 touchdowns.
Dude be running.
In 3 seasons. Okay, not even 3 seasons. 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
2.5 seasons. We're only halfway through the 2024 season. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And he's already told that he's already put that those stats up, and already has over 1,000 yards this season, averaging 11 yards a carry.
He's a little water bug, man.
He is.
He's brooming out there.
Yeah, he's explosive, all right. He's explosive.
I think my analysis is better, but whatever. She's over here using all these technical terms, so sometimes you just got to call it how it is.
He is 5'7", 170.
No, I'm telling you, he's a little water bug. Like,
Yeah.
I am taller than him.
Yeah.
Michael is like the queen of analogies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I speak in code. I
And
realize
it's funny
that
because
sometimes.
when you look at water bugs, they're super speedy and agile, and that's exactly.
I'll do it again.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
do it
exactly.
again.
He's also so he's got a smaller frame, but dude's a freight train.
Yeah.
An absolute freight train, and he's so tough to bring down. Watching his tape was a lot of fun because again, smaller guy, but he plays like a college level running back, like a D1 college level running back. The thing that stuck out to me when watching his tape is his yards after contact ability. I think he really likes the challenge of running it up the middle and just making guys miss. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And a huge part of this offense for PSJA North. That's 2026 running back Ethan Guerra.
He's
Those
like,
are my players to watch.
guilty.
He's what?
And I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. Thank you. Someone got
literally.
the reference.
No, literally.
I'll do it again.
No, seriously.
If you don't get the reference, shame on you.
Yeah. He just likes the challenge. He's like, why go to the outside when I can just run it up
In
the
the
middle
middle.
here and make you miss and make you miss and make you miss.
I love the RGV.
I do too. I do too.
This is great, guys.
I still have never been to the RGV. I want to go so badly.
That blows my mind and pains my heart.
Yeah, because I couldn't go when y'all went on your staff trip a
Yeah.
couple years ago.
It's okay. Well, that just gives me an excuse to need to go back down there. If any RGV schools want to sign up with Dave Campbell's Texan Live, let us know. We will come give you first class service and fly down to be able to meet with you in person.
Well, I do work a little bit on the college side, and they will have a college football program next season.
We have been personally invited by Travis Bush, and more importantly, this is the real nail in the coffin, but Mrs. Bush has asked us to come as a staff to their opening game, and yes.
And so we're not going to say no to that, right?
No, that would be rude.
That would be so rude.
We're not rude.
No. And I don't know how the schedule's going to work. I mean, I assume they play on Saturdays.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of Tuesday night action with UTEP
Not
and
in week
Sam
one,
Houston
though,
playing.
is the good thing.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that threw me off last night. 2 Texas teams playing. But nonetheless, RGV, we love you. We love you. Do you have anything else?
I'm so hungry.